Welcome back, kids. We are on lesson 4.1 today, taking a look at some basic skills of percent of a number and multiplying decimals. We will also be taking a look at domains, the discrete, and so I can move that up there. Yeah, continuous domains and discrete domains, and we'll discuss what those vocabularies are in just a moment. Please write this problem down on your worksheet. The first one, we're going to find 30% of the number 20. To do this, we're going to go ahead and write 30% in decimal form, which is going to be 0.3. The word of is multiplication, and 20, we've just written down our problem. We can go ahead and set it up vertically and multiply. So 20 times 0.3, and looks like this. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, and after this, we need to make sure that we pay attention to this decimal point, and we're going to drop our decimal one place to the left. So our answer for this will be 6.0 or 6. That is the end. Our next problem is going to be 15% of 7. And you can see that this is written as 0.15 times 7. Working this math problem out, set it up vertically. 7 times 5 is 35. Carry our 3. 7 times 1 is 7 plus 3. 7, 8, 9, 10 is our answer. It's supposed to be 105. Well, that is not necessarily the truth. When we take a look at these decimal points, we're going to have our decimal place moved over twice. So our answer will be 1.05. And that's it. This ties in nicely to multiplying decimals. So we're going to do our next problem. Please put on your paper 2.4, and we're going to multiply that times 3.5. Okay, you can see this here. 4 times 5 is 20. Carry our 2. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. Make sure you go ahead and put a placeholder. Then do 3 times 4, which is 12. Carry our 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Go ahead and add these together. We have 0, 4, and 8. Making sure we pay attention to these decimal places up here. That's 2 of them, so we're going to move it over 1, 2. So our answer is going to be 8.4. We're going to do one more of these. 3.6 times 0.4. So we'll go ahead and multiply on the tenth side. 6 times 4 is 24. Let's carry our 2. Here on the top of the screen. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 2 is going to be 14. We'll go ahead and put our placeholder. And then we have 0. When we multiply that times anything, it's always 0. So we'll just put those 2 down. And let's go ahead and add everything up, which is just going to be 1, 4, 4. We have to pay attention to our decimal points here, or decimal places, I should say, making sure that we take our decimal that's on the right side of any number, any whole number, and we'll go ahead and move it over twice because there's 2 decimal places there. We have 1. Sorry about that. We have 1.44, which is our answer. Your secret word for today is Elmo. Make sure you write that on your worksheet. Okay, in class today, you got to remember our key idea, looking at what a function is, remembering that a function is basically a math machine. If you can take a look on the screen here, you can see that there is a blue number, which corresponds to the x value right here. There's a red number that corresponds to the y value. When you put the x value in and you do the math, 3 times x, which is a negative 2, 3 times that negative 2 gives you a negative 6. That is a function. The domain is, and you can read up here, the domain is the set of all possible input values, okay? And then you have your range, which is the set of all possible output values. Here's an input-output table to help us realize what the function does. So if we put the value of x into this algebraic equation, or sentence y equals 3x, if x is 4, we'll substitute that variable for 4. 3 times 4 is how much? And the value will be 12. We'll put that down here in the chart. We can do that again. We'll substitute the x for 5. 5 times 3 is what? 15. So y is 15. Same with 6. Substitute it. 6 times 3 is how much? That's 18. Get my 8 here. And 7 times 3, we're substituting x once again, and that's 21. And you can see how this follows suit. Okay, all the way down the line. I can get my little pen to write. And here we are, using your basic multiplication facts. Pretty simple. Remember that your domain is the input values. Here's our domain, which is this right here. The range is considered the output value, circled over here, which would be our y. And this is important to remember, that our range is the y, as you can see right here, all of our y's, okay, and our domain, which is right up here in the top row. These make our ordered pair that we can go ahead and graph if we need to. Tomorrow in class, you guys are going to look at domains in terms of these two vocabulary words, discrete and continuous. Write those down on your worksheets. You can take a look at the definition of discrete, meaning whole number values in the domain numbers that you will have. And some examples of that would be like how many people are at a movie, or how many math problems you've been asked to do, or how many buses there are on the road. You will have a whole number amount. Those values will not be cut in half or will be a fraction of a whole. On the other hand, you have a continuous domain, and that is all number values between whole numbers. So you'll have a fraction of a whole. Some examples of that are hours you work. You work part of an hour, or your length of a fingernail is part of an inch, or yards lost in a football play. You don't always lose a whole yard amount. It could be a fraction of a yard. And we will look at those tomorrow in class. Don't forget your secret word of the day is this little guy, Elmo. And be prepared to take a look at how to define domains as either discrete or continuous. See you tomorrow in class. Don't forget your worksheets. Thanks.